Greetings to Sturge Town at home and in the diaspora. As usual, we are now in the period of the Emancipation celebration. And you know, and many of you will realize the importance of this period in our free village history. In 1997, when emancipation became a celebration on August 1, the community of Sturge Town, which has been a free village since 1840, felt very delighted about all this, and as a result, a local historical monument was erected at the school. And behind that, there was a celebration to start to look at the possibility of making this an annual thing for Sturge Town. The following year, it started to come together, and out of a committee that was started, the committee was the Community Development Council, which was made up of all the community-based organizations in Sturge Town. We came up with the idea of having, on August 1 especially, and during that week, Emancipation, Homecoming, Back-A-Yaad celebration. The purpose of this was to unearth, document, display, and celebrate the rich history, heritage, and culture of this unique community called Sturge Town, and the resilience of its people throughout the years. Over the years, I have tried to focus on some aspects of our people, the longevity, the good health, the wisdom. I've also looked at the space and how this contributed to all that with Marley Spring, water, well known. Today I would like us to remember that we face a different kind of picture where challenges regarding any people, any community is concerned. And I would like to get you to remember we are facing COVID-19 with all its negative impacts locally and internationally. As a matter of fact, it's a pandemic. But Sturge Town, in its history, has been used to challenges, and especially health challenges. As early as 1850, the community was faced with the challenge of a cholera outbreak, and it took out a lot of the population at that time, which had just started to build a community. We have also had the challenges of tuberculosis, typhoid, malaria, chickenpox, and not to mention the childhood diseases and the maternity challenges and the early childhood challenges. And not long ago we had a health challenge of chickpea. But the local people were always resilient. And we must remember that medicine and doctors were not what it is today. As a result, they resorted to the herbal medicines as much as possible.
Most natural is mostly the psoriasis for belly ache, and oh my god, this thing named coffee bush. They used to use that, and if I got some cuts on me, and they would use the coffee bush and rub it rub it until the green juice come out of it, and dump it on wherever the pimple or the cut is on my body. They will put it on that. They had this one named wow, pepper elder. She used to boil that for just tea. It and the maranga, they boil that just for normal tea. But most natural for the remedy now, if I have a cold, I will get a bush that they call rangot rashikal. It blooms yellow, and they will boil that for me because I have the cold or the leaf of life. They would do that if I'm having a cold. If I'm having a fever, they would boil fever grass and say that's for the fever.
My mother usually for tea, dandelion, the root of the dandelion, because they said that is very good for kidney purpose. And Sturge, they say for good for belly. Ginger, also for belly. And mint, we have black mint and cologne mint. All those mints were there.
They resorted to nutrition, and when vaccination came, they were willing, with willing acceptance, they got into the programs that were provided. Not only have Sturge faced and be resilient about the challenges of health and disease, but also there was also the challenges of Mother Nature. It is well documented that the community suffered a lot from the ravages of hurricanes.
Well, I know that when I was pregnant in 1980 for my first child, I know that we had a storm, and I know that it was devastated. I think a lot of trees blown down, and I get a lot of damages from my house. And I think 88, when she was 8 years old, another one came. I don't remember if that was Gilbert, but it shook me up a lot because my house was not livable anymore. I had to move out because everything got wet and blown off and all of that.
We also had the challenges of earthquake and the challenges of natural pests, others that have affected agriculture. But again, farmers used their knowledge and their commitment to fight it out and to produce, and they were able to become resilient and overcome again. So, having said that, it put us to the point that COVID-19 has not been the first challenge or health challenge that we face. But with God's help and with our willingness to be vaccinated, and I am vaccinated, fully vaccinated, our willingness to follow the protocols and the restriction and the curfews, Sturge Town again will show its resilience, even if we should have a few cases in the community. Out of all these health challenges, we have had our people becoming well known for health and longevity. Many of our citizens have lived beyond 100 years old. At the present, we have about 6 people who are in their high 90s, and Mr. Robert Tracy, son Tracy, and Mrs. James, his daughter, are on the verge of clocking another 100 for Sturge Town. Just 2 years ago, we buried 4 mothers of Sturge Town who made it to 100. And the Tracy family, who were among the first 100 families to start the community of Sturge Town, has a track record of providing longevity records Richard Tracy lived to 109 and was still reading without glasses up to the time he was 107. 1998 take us to the point where Sturgetown decided to put something more documentary, something that could be followed in its celebration of emancipation. As a matter of fact, emancipation celebration never died in the community. There were always simple traditions that were followed, like having corn pork and haki and roasted breadfruit on the 1st of August, and not shooting birds on the 1st of August, and church services on the 1st of August, and getting stories from the elders of what they knew about or what they heard about slavery and the horrors of slavery. So we decided again to look into our rich heritage, culture, and history to see how we could get this together. A committee was struck, as I said earlier, under the Community Development Committee, and I must pay tribute to that working committee that made this possible. It was headed up by Mr. Richard Fullerton, President, now deceased, and also other members, and I'll call the names because they are now deceased. Mr. Harrison Samuels, Reverend Ken Kirby, Miss Delta Tracy, Mrs. Ione Mackenzie, Mr. Levi James, to name a few. Thank God a few of us are from that working group, including myself, Bill Barrett, Norma Blake James, Colin Zaki Henry, are still around to carry on the tradition. Mr. Albert James came on a little later, and he made a tremendous contribution towards what we now call the Back-A-Yaad celebration. I must give you a hint of what the celebration was all about. As I said, it is to unearth, display, and present our rich history, culture, and heritage, and our people. So we had a week itinerary, which is followed ever since for the past 20 odd years, which on us, after weeks and months of planning, on the first Sunday of August, or the Sunday before 1st of August, we have an ecumenical church service. And in that, members of the three churches in the community, the Baptist, the Church of God, and the Tabernacle, meet at the Baptist, the historical Baptist church, for a church service. But I must take you to the night before this day, because it always have what we call a vigil, in which people meet from about 7 to 10 o'clock at the school that night and enjoy storytelling, riddles, music, hot chocolate, fried fritters, and other items that are produced, foods that are produced in the community. Early on the morning of August 1, that's Emancipation, Back-A-Yaad Day, there would be drumming from the center of the community to the local historical monument, where a wreath, a floral wreath, made up of flowers from the community would be laid by somebody, especially a youth from the community. The real celebration of Emancipation, Homecoming, Back-A-Yaad celebration event start to warm up at about 10 a.m. By this time, the foods are, which is a part of the Sturge culture, the roasted breadfruit, ackee and saltfish, the mackerel and banana rundown, jerk pork, fried fritters and hot chocolate, baked items, the puddings, the tire leaf, the nuts, and all these can be washed down with local coconut water as well as ginger beer. And of course, we would bottle some of the Marley spring water for not allowing it to be left out of our daily experience. At about 12 o'clock, the crowd would be at about its peak, and at that time, it's the time for the official opening of this annual event. And it would be called to order by the president or someone designated for that. Prayer would be offered by the older citizen able to attend. The welcome and greetings would be given, and it would be followed by a great time of meeting and greeting, because sometimes we would have people visiting this event who had not been in the community from their school days, sometimes 60 or 70 years before. The program goes into remembering those who had gone on before, those who have blazed the trail in professions and in the various areas of life, because Churchtown, over its history, has produced people of excellence. No wonder the motto of the school is providing excellence since 1842, when the first school started on that very location. We would also bring greetings from other communities, and on occasion we had visitors from Ghana and Nigeria, because that's where our roots, the people of our community have roots. We would also have a corner for artifacts. Oh, we have had wonderful display of how things were. So we would have artifacts from the old-time mortar, a mortar stick for beating coffee and Isle nut and things like that. We'd have the grater, and we'd have for coconut and other corn and other products, the old-time corn mill, the old-time 3-foot pot, the water cooling jar, and we have, along with that cooling jar, what is considered to be a thunderbolt that helps to keep water cool in the jar. And we will also have the bamboo sling that is used for carrying water, calabash and gourds in all form, and not to mention the one that we put under the bed. I'll leave it to guess with that one.
What we did, we planned to have this Back-A-Yaad, having persons come back from abroad and come and support us. So what we did, we planned to do everything old, to bring back the old Sturge Town. So we have like rundown, we have drops, we have corn cake, which we call blue jars, we have fritters and saltfish, we have a lot of the old time food. We bring right back that into it. So we have stalls. So we sell stalls to persons who came in with their thing and they sell their food. And we as the host now, we would be the person to make all the arrangement for the older set of things. So if somebody came in and bought a stall, they may be cooking just chicken and maybe jerk pork and thing like that. But we go a step back, and so we do that. We set up something like that now, and we have all the old time things coming back. So we have an old iron, we have an old stove, we have the three leg pot, we have things that people used to use in those days. The mortar to beat the thing like that. So we set up something like that, and then we have concerts where we dressed like in olden days people, and we have parade. So we call it dancing parade, and then you have people who chooses the winner, and people really enjoy it for many years.
So we call that the way things were, and we are hoping that collection of artifacts will eventually become a part of a local museum, which would be a very important part in us achieving what we now have in mind and still working at: community tourism. Community tourism. So we have all this kind of display to help us to bring our history, or culture, or people, or natural resources, or history or heritage together to form for the purpose of integrated community development. We'd also have a herbal collection corner where some of the herbal plants from the community, the pepper elder, the vervine, the search me heart, the tea bushes, the ramgoat reed, clary, all among others would be displayed to allow the younger generation to see how we were able to develop resilience when we were faced with some of the health challenges of the day. The cultural package would involve storytelling, Louise Bennett type recitations. Some of it provided are locally produced recitations, riddles, drumming, singing, dancing, and I think we have videos of my 100-year-old auntie dancing at one of these celebrations. The highlight of this cultural presentation would be the maypole dancing, as well as 9-night celebration, and we have had people from Muirhouse, Buxton, and Tracy, who are very famous for the 9-night presentation, joining us on a few occasions. We'd also have the day coming to a close at about 6 p.m. with us having a gospel package, and this was also mainly from local people in the community, people who have excelled in their singing and in their presentation along this line. This year, we would like to pay tribute to those who have always participated and who will no longer be with us, even if we had a face-to-face celebration this year. Mr. Harry Samuels and Mr. Richard Fullerton, Albert James, Miss Ione Mackenzie, Lloyd Brown, Tom Tracy, Jim Miller, all these, Duchess Miller, all these passed on during last year. We are looking forward beyond this virtual presentation of our history in the context of Back-A-Yaad celebration, because our church-owned history is very wide and is very broad and can be seen from many perspectives. But this year we decided to look at the perspective of our Back-A-Yaad celebration, what it has meant to the community, financially, socially, mentally, and spiritually. So we look forward to the future. And my view of history is that history is lived forward and understood backwards. Also, that it's like driving a car on the highway. Although we keep our eyes on the road and keep our eyes on the passing side views, but we are always having the occasion of glancing back into the past, into our rear view mirror of our beautiful, wonderful community, Free Village of Sturge. Free Village since 1840, the second oldest free village in Jamaica. It was done only by Sligoville, and the historian tells us that the only reason why Sligoville outdid us is because they were near to Spanish Town. They got registered before us. So history, Back-A-Yaad celebration, let it live on in our memories. Let it live on in memory lane. Let us look forward to the day when face-to-face Back-A-Yaad will return. God bless you. Sturge Town community we love.